Well, how are you doing, Barbara?
Good. You have some nice big windows there. You can see the sky behind you. Where
Yeah,
are you?
I'm in California. I live near
Oh,
Yosemite, so
okay. I'm near San Francisco.
excellent, excellent. Well,
Yeah,
it's nice and cold everywhere right now.
it is. It's cold and rainy here. Yeah.
So, hey, Barbara, hey, congratulations for Sacrifice.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So tell us what initially attracted you to a project like Sacrifice, because I know you've done a lot of different horror movies in the
hmm
past.
a lot of times movies come to you through friends, and Sean Knopp was one of the producers of this film. We had worked together as actors on a film called Replace, and he initially reached out to me. And you always want to work with your friends. You make good friends in the business, and if somebody's doing something, it's nice to continue on and work with people that you've worked with before and developed a rapport with. So that was my initial opening to knowing about the film. And he told me it's based on a short story that has Lovecraft leanings, even though it's not really a Lovecraft story. And of course, that intrigued me because I have a history with Lovecraft, and I read it and I loved my part. And then he said, "You'll get to go to Norway if you want to do it." So I said, "Oh, how can I resist?" So that's how it all kind of came together initially for me.
Now, one of the things that I was when I watched the film, I was fascinated was it was a story based in Norway, and you have to come up with a Norwegian accent.
Yes. And they were very worried about that. They said, "Can you do a Norwegian accent?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll figure it out." And they said, "No, but really, can you do a Norwegian accent?" And I said, "Yeah, don't worry, I'll figure it out." So I wanted them to feel comfortable. And I actually hired a Norwegian language teacher to come to my house. And I recorded one of my speeches to them and just put it on tape, and I sent it over. And they said, "Oh, okay, you can do it." So then after that, I hired this gal to come to my house for about 8 weeks. She came 2 or 3 times a week, just for an hour for a few weeks. And we worked not only on the script, but on other dialogue that, I could say, or just in conversation, just with the accent, because I wanted to feel really comfortable with the accent so that if I was doing any ad-libbing or anything like that, it would just come out naturally. And it was important for me because I was the head of this cult in the movie to have a very sincere, very deep Norwegian accent. Like, she's never left the island. She grew up there. She stayed there. That's it. That's her home. So I think I have more of a Norwegian accent than any of the Norwegians.
Did you even try to speak their language while over there, or did everyone
Well, I
really
did.
look?
I actually have some words in Norwegian that I had to learn and I had to memorize. And there's like a little poem that I'm saying at the dinner scene, it's a little phrase that I have to say. And that took me a long time to learn, because not only did I have to get the accent right, but I had to say these words in a different language. So it's really like memorizing gibberish. So it that took a while, and I wanted it to feel like it would come trippingly off the tongue. I didn't want to hesitate at all. So yeah, but that's a fun challenge to work on.
Well, you know what I thought was actually pretty challenging was the fact that as a cult leader, you had to be in was it the ocean or river or lake, whatever that is,
Yeah. hmm
and uh, and you know what? I felt cold. I feel cold here in California, so I can't even imagine what you were going through.
The water was freezing, and it's funny because I watched the movie. And did you really feel like it was cold? Because I watched the movie now, and I don't think that I know that it's freezing. Although Sophie and Ludovic had, their characters had jackets on when they came to the ceremony. But I don't know if you could tell that it was cold, because it was effing cold. Let me tell you,
That,
okay,
that,
it was effing cold. We had wetsuits on underneath our robes with booties. I don't know what the actual temperature was. I don't think I want to know, but it was intense, and we were sort of out in the middle of nowhere. So we didn't have a warming tent really. I think we had a couple little heaters, but it wasn't much. I mean, you were just cold the whole day.
Wow, that's
Whatever.
amazing
Yeah.
because I thought the whole cast just did a polar bear challenge or something like that into the waters. I couldn't imagine it being warm.
I don't think that we could have done it without the wetsuits and stayed in for as long as we had to be there. I mean, we would have had hypothermia. It was freezing. It's freezing. But you have to pretend like it's not. That's acting, I guess. Yeah.
Hey, Barbara, so you are such an icon in horror today. How do you choose your projects? And when you take a horror project like this, how do you make it your own, like we're not here?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good question. There's not any special criteria that I look for. I think when I'm reading it, it's just a feeling you get. Is there something that I can bring to this role that I feel like would benefit the project? If I look at a role and I say, I just don't think I'm the right person for this role, or I don't think I, want to do it for whatever reason, it's not about how big the role is or how small ever. It's really if I feel like I can bring something to it, or I feel like it's challenging or interesting. I don't want to play a character that's boring. There's some times where I might turn down a role where, recently I think somebody offered me a role where I had to be a doctor, and there just wasn't anything that my character did that was going to affect the plot at all. So for me, I was like, I don't really know if I'm the best person for this. It wasn't as interesting a role as Jeffrey Combs's character in Reanimator being a doctor. It was really just being a doctor. And I just thought, well, I'm not going to bring anything to this that's, going to add anything. So I just turned it down and, hope they found somebody else that would work better for them. But I just want to do different things. I mean, when I was younger, most of the roles I got, I would play the victim, or, played somebody who was, fighting against something. And now I find myself getting to play roles where I'm the person that others have to fight against. So I get to play the monster now a little bit more. That's been fun. I don't know why, as you get older, I guess, do you sort of grow into those kinds of roles? But I'm definitely playing characters now that are a little somewhat morally challenged. But, there's other roles. I play nice characters too. Yeah. But, something that has a little meat to it, I guess, something that's dynamic is probably what I would gravitate towards, and getting to explore different parts of myself, because you always bring yourself into a role. And if I can access those parts of myself that I think would bring some benefit to the role, then I also look at that.
Excellent. Well, let me wrap it up with one more thing, Barbara, because obviously, I'm just outside of Fresno. You're in San Francisco. We're speaking virtually.
Yeah.
How are you staying sane and creative during times like this?
It's hard for everybody. And I think we just have to have a lot of empathy for ourselves. I think we all do. We all know we're in the same boat together. And I have moments where I don't do as well as other moments. And I think you have to just give yourself room to just be exactly where you are, and know that if you're feeling sad or anxious or worried one day, you're going to feel a little bit different the next day. And so give yourself room to be okay about where you are. It's a real mental exercise that we've all been put through in the last many months, almost a year now. And we are just at the mercy of this deadly virus. And there's really nothing we can do until everybody gets our vaccine, or we develop this herd immunity, which it feels to me like, it's going to happen at the same time, the herd immunity and the vaccines. By the time all that happens, then we'll be out of it. But I just take it day by day. And I was fortunate enough this past year to work on the edit and the post-production of Jacob's Wife, which is premiering at South by Southwest in March, which is a film I've been working on for a number of years. So I had that to work on. And there's some other films that I'm developing with some other people that we have ready to go. As three projects all have directors, and they're ready to go as soon as we can make them. And we might make them, you know, still at the end of the pandemic. And I think just every day you just have to talk to yourself and know that you're not alone.
Absolutely, Barbara. Well, hey, thank you very much for talking with me, for
Thank
Sacrifice,
you.
and stay safe.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.